Okay. So I've been trying to read books out of my comfort zone is the concept of this video, as you can tell. Um, so my first one kind of fell into my lap because I canceled a book box subscription and I didn't make it in time before another one had come. So this one was a historical romance, which I don't read a lot of romance, and I read some historical fiction, but not a lot. This story is about a girl who grew up in an academy where they basically try and fight the patriarchy, which I think is wonderful. It's a good concept until she meets a guy. She meets a guy who is basically at odds with her because she's supposed to be taking down this senator who is going to be voting against a bill that would help women's rights. And the guy is blackmailing the senator. I don't know what it's in the UK, so not a senator, but he's in the legislature, and he's going to try and destroy this bill that would help women's rights. And this guy is blackmailing that guy in order to get him to help the poor, basically. And so they're at odds. And I don't know how I feel about this book. I'm on page 233, and I'm not much for romance. I kind of wish this book was just historical fiction. I kind of wish it wasn't romantic at all, because to begin with, it calls it the Crinoline Academy, but she barely spends any time in the academy. It's her working for this academy in order to take down this guy. So that bothered me to begin with, because I wanted to hear about, like, what kind of things are they taught? Like, what's the academy like? It's all these orphan girls who get taken in and try and fight the patriarchy. Yeah, I want to read about that. And then I don't like how the main characters describe each other, because you do get both from Effie's perspective and Gabriel's perspective, and she's always describing him as dangerous. And he's got these ice cold eyes, and he's unfeeling, and all of these things. But you never get shown the fact that he's dangerous. Like, he hasn't done anything that makes him particularly dangerous. He runs a gambling place, basically, and so that makes him dangerous. Which I guess for Victorian times, maybe that's considered dangerous, but he hasn't done anything. He hasn't hurt anybody so far. And then Gabriel loves talking about Effie's boobs. Just loves it so much. And I just cannot get behind it. I get that's a romance book, but I feel like if she's just crossing her arms to show she's frustrated about something, you don't need to talk about her boobs. That's just me. The banter is kind of nice. I do like them fighting. I don't really see them getting together, though, at the moment. It's just them being attracted to one another, but that doesn't really make for a good relationship necessarily. And he also doesn't seem to care about women's rights, which I feel like would be a deal breaker for her. He cares a lot about the poor, but mostly about poor men. And he just assumes that things will get better for women and children if he helps the poor men. He, like, literally says that. So I feel like he says that he doesn't follow politics as well, which is like, yikes. But I like the banter. I like all the things about the academy. I like her trying to figure out how to take down this guy. I find that all really interesting. So I'll probably finish this book in the next couple of days. Then I think the other two books I'm going to read, which I don't know when I'm going to get to them, because I am also reading We Could Be Rats by Emily Austen. And I've been really enjoying that book, but that book is exactly up my alley. It's the kind of book that I would love. So that doesn't count for this video. But I do have The Watchers by A.M. Shine. I've been interested in this book because I love reading books that get turned into movies and then never seeing the movie. That is a horror book, which is not something I read very often because I am a baby when it comes to horror. I watched Baby's First Slasher when the Fear Street movies came out. So that kind of tells you how into horror I am. I don't watch a lot of it. I was in it for the gays. And then I also have People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. This is just a straight up romance. So I don't know how that's going to go, but people swear by this book. I don't even know how I ended up with this book. Why did I buy this? I don't know. So those are the 3 books I'm planning on reading for this vlog. And yeah, I'll see you later. I think I partied too close to the sun this weekend. I'm so exhausted. I had both of my sister-in-laws over on Friday. We played this drinking game that's slap something. I don't remember what it's called, but you have sticky hands and you try and flick them to get a token, and then the token, whoever gets the token reads the card, and then it has some prompt. It's basically a drinking game.
Oh! Oh no! Oh no! I got stuck! No! I'm so close, guys! Oh, I'm so close! Wait, when you curse, that's curse knowledge. I need you to know that.
I didn't drink too much just because I'm 33 years old and it's not really my thing anymore. But they stayed over Saturday, and then we went book shopping on Saturday. I got 2 books. Maybe I'll show you. I ended up getting 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. I ended up getting 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. This is basically my favorite romance ever. I'm not big a romance reader, but I got it from the library when I read it, so I wanted to have my own copy. And then I got the second book in the Jade City trilogy. I read the first one, and I thought it was really good, and so I wanted to read the second one. So yeah, we ended up doing that and just gallivanting around. And then on Sunday, I went to my dad's house, as I do every Sunday, and my niece was there. She's 10. And that was exhausting too. Not in a bad way. None of this was in a bad way. I enjoyed myself immensely. But it was too much socializing. Okay, let's do a reading check-in. I finished The Watchers by A.M. Shine. I was going to read this after reading The People We Meet on Vacation, but I needed a break from romances. And this is certainly not a romance. This is a book about a girl who gets stuck in the forest. Her car stops working, her phone stops working, all those kind of things. And as she's trying to find help, she finds a woman who tells her to run into a house, or I guess it's more like just a room, basically. And it turns out that there is, at night, these people they call the Watchers come out. Or I guess they're not people. These creatures called the Watchers come out, and anybody who is left outside of the room is basically killed. So they're called the Watchers because there's this big pane of glass that they can look in, and I guess if the people kind of hide themselves or something like that, the Watchers get really upset because they want to watch them and see what happens. And it kind of deals with that and her surviving with these 3 other people. And yeah, it's marketed as a horror book. I don't know if I would consider it a horror. It seems more like a thriller to me because I don't want to go into spoilers, but the deaths are not very gory. There's nothing very scary happening. Like, I don't find the Watchers very scary, and I don't know, it seems more like a survival thriller to me. But it was good. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. I thought it was really interesting, especially the sort of last 40 pages of the book. I feel like you don't really see too often. Well, I don't read a lot of horror books, so I don't really know, but there's kind of an aftermath. So, yeah. I ended up liking it pretty well. For a horror book, it wasn't very scary, so I'm okay with that. And then I started The People You Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, and I'm only like 10 pages in, but I already can see how maybe the writing is not my favorite. It's very silly. It's very, yeah, it's just silly, I think is how I would phrase it. And I kind of wish it would take itself a little more seriously, I guess. I don't know. Maybe romance books are just kind of silly. But so far, the writing style is not really my thing, but I'm excited to see how it goes. I've met both of the characters. They're so far very cute. Um, yeah, I'll follow up later. Okay. God, I only ever see myself in the mirror, of course, so I never realized how ridiculous my glasses look until I see them. My prescription is so strong that you can see so much of just me. My contacts were bothering me, and I forgot. I want to get this video out before I go on vacation, and I forgot to give context to some of the things I was doing. So here I am giving context. Ignore the glasses, ignore the hair, ignore the everything. So me and my wife she got me these little date cards for an anniversary, I believe, I think last year. And they have random stuff on them and they're wild. One was to do balloon animals, but we did origami instead. I didn't actually film any of that. But another one was to take a book that you love and take the pages and form it into a thing of your choosing. And so we had extra copies of these books, obviously, because I'm not going to just destroy a book that I love. And if you've noticed, it's been sitting behind me in videos. But here is some progress. We first did some wrapped in tinfoil, or formed in with tinfoil, which my wife did because I'm bad at crafting and she's good at it. And then I did a first layer of Scott Pilgrim because I wanted to do a graphic novel. So I did the fourth Scott Pilgrim book because that's one of my favorites. And I wanted to make Ramona's hammer, but it's not as big as hers. Like the head of the hammer is a lot bigger than I made mine, just because, I don't have that much paper mache. But this is the final product. You can see Scott eating some nachos, him talking about saying the L word. This cute little panel. And then, are you going to fight that guy? He's got a sword. And then I've got some little Ramona and a little Scott with a sword. And that's the final product. It's kind of coming apart just because the pages were thicker than, normal paper. So when we did paper mache, they didn't stick very well. So it's kind of coming up on the edges, but I still really liked it. And then on Memorial Day, we went to Color Me Mine because we've been there before and it's a lot of fun. And it was actually surprisingly busy. But I wanted to make a Yellow Jackets plate. That's why it's a little crown with some flowers. And then I just added another flower to make it more cohesive. And then I put the symbol from Yellow Jackets onto the plate and then covered it with, because I wasn't sure I liked it, so I covered it with paint, but it shined through at the end. So it actually looks kind of like a hidden symbol, which is kind of cool. That's context for all of the footage I have. Cooper, are you so unhappy about what's happening right now?
Mom, stop it. She's being crazy.
She's unsettled. We're wealthy now.
Oh, no. Sorry, we still have to stick with IKEA furniture.
What's wrong? Okay, let's do a reading update. I'm about halfway through The People We Meet on Vacation. I don't just drop that on my chest. I'm about halfway through People We Meet on Vacation, and it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be super cheesy, and it is pretty cheesy. The writing, the banter, it's all kind of unrealistic in my opinion, but I also don't hate it. I wish there was a little bit more seriousness to it. Like they hinted at the fact that, or she flat out says that Alex's parents died when or his mother died, I believe, or maybe his father, when he was younger and he had to help take care of his siblings. And I'm like, that's pretty heavy stuff to just kind of throw in a paragraph and then never mention again. Did you hear that? It's my cat. What's wrong, Rosie? Come here. It's cats. Hi, baby. You can have pets. So it's kind of strange to just have that kind of thrown in there. And then I don't know if it comes back to that at all. But I am the kind of person that wants that kind of grief, and I don't want to say trauma, but that kind of stuff in my books, because I want that to be explored, and it just being thrown in there just like seems like it's trying to give this character depth but not really exploring it very well. Plus she keeps talking about how hot he is, and I get it. Like I get it, after the first time you find him hot, you don't have to keep going on about it. It's okay. I get it. Plus I like Alex. I think he's interesting. I'm not a huge fan of Poppy, because she, in the beginning, is complaining about her job, and like, forget what she was complaining about. She just complains about her job a lot, and she's got like the perfect job. She travels all the time and writes for magazines. I haven't even talked about what this is about. If you don't know what this is about, I mean, everybody's read this book, but it's about two friends who every summer they go on a vacation together, even though they're total opposites. And there's 2 years since they have talked, and something happened in Croatia that they have not said what it is yet, but they stopped talking for 2 years, and now they're on a vacation after becoming friends again. And it goes in between the vacation that they're on and then goes back. It started off 8 years ago and then is coming back up until the present. So it kind of goes back and forth, which I'm interested in all the vacations they've been on, but sometimes I forget if we're in the present or in the past. Because their characters are kind of the same. They haven't really changed very much. But Poppy is not my favorite. She complains a lot about everything. And for some reason, she's lying to him about the fact that her work is not sponsoring this vacation that they're on. And she keeps lying about it, which I think is a weird choice. Like, I don't know why he would care. And if that's the conflict that happens at the end of the book, like, I don't really get it. It's a weird thing to lie about. So far, I'm enjoying it. It's giving like 3-star vibes right now. So if it ends up with some trauma or some drama, maybe it'll be higher. Maybe it depends on what happened in Croatia. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Okay, bye. Okay, so I finished. Oh my goodness, I forgot the microphone. I finished these 3 books. Let's talk about it. I talked a little bit about Rules for Ruin at the beginning of this video. I didn't go into a lot of detail just because I had already started it by the time I started this video, but I was not a big fan of this one. I really wasn't. I didn't like how the guy talked about the girl in this book, and I didn't like the romance at all. I was mostly here for the taking down of the patriarchy and ruining men's lives. So I ended up giving it 2 stars, which I know is a unpopular opinion because this has such a high rating on Goodreads. It's insane. So it's just me. There's like one other person that DNF'd this book, and that was it. I think I was the first person to give it 2 stars. So, oops. Then I ended up reading The Watchers. I ended up giving this 3.5 stars. I thought this was really interesting and really entertaining. And it's pretty slow burn for a horror book. I heard the movie sucked, so I'm not going to be watching that. But I ended up liking it a lot. It was a lot of fun, and I wish there was a little bit more action here and there, but really it didn't bother me that much. And then finally, I finished the people. I don't know why I keep calling it the people we meet on vacation. It's just people we meet on vacation. This book, I gave 3 stars, which may be higher than I actually would have given it. Maybe it's a 3.5 stars. I don't know. I'm afraid to piss people off. I did not like Poppy very much. I thought she was kind of a boring character, and she got angry at like the stupidest things, complaining about your job. Like, I get that it's probably not for everybody, but she's like, I can't go to college because all I want to do is travel. And I'm like, okay, that's not a good enough reason to drop out of college. But if college isn't for you, I'm not going to tell her what to do with her life. But I thought the arguments in the end of the book, the kind of drama that they bring into the book, was not very interesting. I thought it was really predictable. And also at the same time, I thought they were a little silly. Like the fact that she doesn't want kids and she wants to live in New York and things like that, and he wants to live in Ohio. Those are legitimate things to be concerned about when it comes to a relationship. The other things, I won't say what because I don't want to spoil it, a little silly. So I ended up giving this like 2.5, maybe 3 stars. But honestly, this could just be because it's me. These are not my genre of books. So, of course, they're probably going to get a lower rating than somebody who loves horror and loves romance. So, at the end of the day, it was pretty successful. I did finish all of them. I enjoyed one of them. My wife even said that she loves when I read romance books because I always get really angry at them, and then I have to tell her why I'm so mad. So, at least it was entertaining for someone. And that's it. I think I'm going to splice in some random things that have happened with my life recently. I've been doing a lot of crafts, as you have seen. And yeah, see you probably in the wrap up. I'm going to Denver in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to be filming a lot there. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.